Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to take a look at the new channel map, and I'm going to jump around into various modern fighters to show you guys what it looks like. And here we go. Up, up, and away. So at the moment I'm sitting at about 40 FPS, but we're going over the water here. And I have a lot of details turned down low to pull this off. I think lighting in general is screwed up right now in the open beta, because I don't know if you could see the kind of weird shadow effect that's going on these wings here. And a lot of the aircraft just look washed out from the external view, and some from within the cockpit. Let's take a look. Here we are approaching the one side of the channel. Things are starting to get a little sluggish. Down to about 29 FPS. $26, $27. Yeah, this is sluggish. Holy cow. Ironically, I seem to do a little better when trying to move slower across this terrain in a helicopter. Seemed like it was a lot less taxing. I think we're approaching Dover. There's the castle. That is so sluggish. It says 30 FPS, but it felt like 15. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of stutters. Yeah, you can't trust what the frame rate counter is telling you. There's more to the story than that. It's like at times it seems reasonable and okay, but at other times you're just like, oh my god, what is going on? It's almost like micro pauses, you know? It's really disorienting. It usually looks a lot worse than it is in the video too, so this video must look freaking terrible. And I have a high-end system. There's no reason for performance like this. i9 9900K 2080 Super GPU running off of an SSD with 32 gigs of DDR4. Seems like these last few rounds of open beta is affecting the performance again. The last one before this one, when they came out with Super Carrier, it almost seemed like things got better for a second. Let's take a look at another plane over the map. All right. Haven't been in the Viper in a minute. Kind of missed this little sports car.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Yeah, performance-wise, it doesn't seem any better in the Viper.
Altitude. Altitude.
And for complete transparency, I'm going to show you what my settings are. I mean, it's the same as what it is for almost all my VR videos. This is where I'm at this point because I used to have a lot of this stuff turned up even more before the 2.5.6 issues popped up. But now I have to turn it down this low. So I have textures medium, terrain textures low, civilian traffic low, water low, visibility range high, heat blur off, shadows medium, 1024 for the cockpit displays, no MSAA, no depth of field, no lens effects, no motion blur, no SSAA, no SSLR. Clutter grass is where it is, trees visibility down to the lowest setting. 16x anesiotropic filtering, terrain object shadows flat, cockpit global illumination on. Again, that's it, man. Very simple stuff. And I have my pixel density set at 0.5, which is the lowest setting you can go in here. And I'm using the Oculus Tray tool at a super sampling rate of 1.5. That's it, man. And this is what I'm getting. I mean, it hits 40 once in a while, but it never stays there.
Altitude.
Seems like on this map I've seen as low as, I don't know, 29, and with a lot of stuttering. Even if the frame rate says 40, it's still not smooth. It's the issue of the stuttering and the jerky movement when looking around. Not to mention at the moment, there's issues with the lighting going on right now too, to where shadows are kind of messed up, and a lot of planes look a little funky from the external. Surprisingly, the F-16 doesn't look too bad, but a lot of other planes look really funky. And look at this, from an external view, I was as low as 25 for a second there. So on one hand, everything looks fantastic. Even at these low settings, it looks pretty cool. It doesn't look as good as it does on my monitor outside of VR, but for being in VR, and you saw the settings I'm using, it looks considerably good for being that low. Just the sheer number of objects and things on the ground to be rendered is just mind-boggling. And that's why it's a slideshow. And that's why we have stuttering. And again, it's not optimized, I'm sure of it.
Altitude.
I think once things end up getting a few passes of optimization, this might be a lot more fun. All right, here we go. This is probably going to be the worst case scenario here, because just rendering the cockpit in the Tomcat takes a lot of your performance. Yeah, I'm already starting to stutter a little bit here. Wow. 26, 27. Welcome to the slideshow. That is the Tomcat in VR in Open Beta 2.5.6. I really don't know what more I can possibly do to improve performance in this right now. I think my settings are pretty much almost as low as they're going to go. I mean, do I turn pixel density down even lower? And again, the numbers may say one thing, but in use it seems a lot worse than what those numbers are conveying. Wow, that's bad. Let's take a look at the Sabre over Dunkirk. Now this has a lot less to render in terms of the cockpit. Let's see how this goes. It's a wee bit better. I think it has a lot to do with the cockpit that you're in when you're flying as to what performance you're going to end up achieving. But as you can see, everything still does look pretty damn impressive. It's fun to do some sightseeing here. Now, in all fairness, you're not going to fly over an area this densely populated the entire time to get from point A to point B when you're doing your missions. So I guess this is the worst case scenario, but these are the areas people are going to want to see. These are the areas people are going to want to fly over. Here's one of those planes I just don't get into that often because I never really learned it, the MiG-19, but I really appreciate this cockpit. Very cool looking. At about 29, 30 FPS, there's a lot going on in this cockpit. It's a little bit more to render than most. I think this plane really looks nice on this map, though. I mean, this reminds me of the days of the 486 and the Pentiums, you know? You tried playing Doom on your 486 DX266 and it was like this. And then you went up to a Pentium 90 and all of a sudden you were enlightened. You realized that, you know, things could actually be smooth. Only the problem is we don't have that Pentium right now. We don't have that next generation piece of hardware that's going to make this smooth yet, you know? That's the problem. The software is pushing the hardware too hard right now, and we don't have the hardware solution to smooth this out and make this the experience that we really would like it to be. And that's too bad. We're going to get there. It's just going to take some time. So things are improving right now because I'm over these areas where it's just trees and not so much tons of buildings. So you can't go by 100% what the frame rate counter is telling you. You have to go by, is this smooth and not jerky, or is it not stuttering? Because it can say 40 FPS but be stuttering like crazy. So I think it's safe to say we're in agreement that the channel map looks fantastic. And everybody loves VR in DCS. We just need to get to a point to where they can fix this 2.5.6 crap and get things back to where it was at 2.5.5. And the scarier part is I don't know that we're ever going to get back to that point because they've added so much visual stuff in 2.5.6, like the new lighting effects and some of the graphical improvements they've done. And then they just came out with this map that looks better than anything they've ever created before. And it's just math. More objects, more details equals more rendering horsepower needed to pull it off. So I'm not sure where VR is going at the moment in DCS, but in terms of it being a really smooth and super enjoyable experience, don't hold your breath. There are better options out there, like IL-2 when it comes to VR, but IL-2 looks fantastic, but it doesn't look as good as this. That's the trade-off. So, I don't know, guys. I really want to love this more than what I do right now, and I'd love to get back to where it was more fun. But I'm not too hopeful at the moment. I play more on my monitor than I do in VR anymore because of this right here. It looks great. It's really cool that I could just turn my head and it's natural that I'm in this cockpit the way it is in this virtual world. But it almost gives you a freaking headache because of the stutters and just, it's just not right, I guess is the point. This is the current state of VR in DCS World over the channel map. And it looks beautiful. It really does. But I don't know, man. It looks like it's going to take some next-gen hardware to make it the experience that it really should be in the VR realm. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. Until next time.